So with the absolute cell referencing, the formulas file that you were using last week, we were asked to use an absolute cell reference in cell I5, okay? And there was already a formula which was put in I5 that's referring to cell I1, okay, which is 10%, okay? And the way you were supposed to create that absolute cell reference, basically we are saying, if we calculate all these different totals like you were supposed to using the auto sum, I'm just wanting to do a short recap of some of the things that we covered in our lesson last week. Okay, so if we want to calculate the total sales for the month of January, we enter this formula equals sum B5 to B8. Okay, and then you press enter, or you could have instead gone to formulas and go to where it says auto sum, or you click on this arrow and then you can calculate the sum. Then you could have used, for instance, the autofill function, where you put your mouse pointer at the bottom right of a cell, which has got a formula. And then if you click to drag across, that automatically copies your formula. Then, so that's just a recap of some of the things that we covered last week. For the total sales for the different sales representatives, that could have been calculated again, auto sum, okay? And in this case, you're wanting to look at how many sales did Smith have or make. We are adding what he sold in January, February, and March. And then if you press enter, that gives you the value of his total sales, okay? And then I can copy those total sales for each individual and then the total for all of them combined using the same autofill function. Are there any issues with the formulas and functions then?
Sorry, sir, can you please?
Did you understand what I've just shown you? How to calculate the totals for the month here, and then the totals for the individual. Did you follow that?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So what I want to do now is, you will notice that over here, when I calculated the total sales, the commission was also calculated. The reason is because there is a formula to calculate the commission. The commission is 10%. If Smith sold goods worth 5,527, 10% of that is the commission that Smith gets. Now, if I've got that formula in here, so if I want to, like I was doing for the others, I can try to copy the commission, because I also want to know what is N Brown's commission, which is 10% of 1,651. What is Wallace's commission? What is Adams' commission? If I keep my formula equals to E5, which is what is in this cell, multiplied by what is in cell I1, if I try to copy that formula down, do you notice that trying to copy the formula doesn't work for me? I'm not so sure how much you try to do. I'm just wanting to try and consolidate what we covered. And what I can do is, if I look at each cell now, this one is calculating my formula correctly. If I go to the cell below it, I'm getting an answer 0. And I need to try and look and find out, okay, why this time did I get an answer 0 when the answer I wanted is $165, which is 10% of 1,651. If I look carefully at my formula bar, it is saying this is equal to what is in E6. That is correct, but it's multiplying by the contents in cell I2. Which one is, what is in cell I2? Can you all see? Are you following what the formula is in this cell? Can someone tell me what is in cell I2? This is column I, and this is row 2. What is in cell I2? Sinead, do you see? Are you following?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Okay, we seem to have problems with our to be having some issues with our Wi-Fi. Sinead, can you hear me okay now? Shall I carry on explaining? I am recording the lesson, so maybe if you're in and out of the lesson, I'll continue to explain. Okay, we want to just quickly finish revising this, and then we are going to be looking at cut, copy, and paste on page reference. Just want to quickly give page reference, page 136. Page 135. Continue explaining, and I am recording this, so I'll be able to post this recording at a later stage, and hopefully that will still allow us to follow what I'm trying to explain. What I'm trying to explain is, if we look at the formulas file that I'm going over, what is happening is if I go to cell I6, the formula here now, what is in cell CE6 and what is in cell I2. But if you look, cell I2 has got nothing. So it's going to say 5,164 times 0 because there is nothing in cell I2. And then if I look at the next cell, it's now saying cell E7. It's going through correctly here because these are the different cells that I want to use. But this time around, it's copied cell I3. It's gone down again to cell I3, and cell I3 has got nothing. And then if I look at this file, I'm now multiplying what is in cell E8 with cell I4. And that's also not going to work for us because in fact now we are trying to multiply a number with some text. So to fix that, we need to change the formula which we have posted in here and make the cell reference absolute. What that means is that I want, when I'm copying the formula, I want to keep cell I1 constant. That's what absolute cell referencing is about. And the way you simply do that to use an absolute reference, where it says equals E5 times I1, I just put dollar signs before the I put $1 before the I put $1 before the 1. And that has now changed my cell reference to make it absolute. And I'm telling the computer, when I copy this formula down, keep this cell reference constant, cell I1 constant. And you will notice now, if I copy down that formula, it has now copied correctly. And if I check what's in that cell, it's E5 times cell I1. Then if I double click in this, it's now cell E6 times I1, which is what I want. And if I click in this cell, it's what is in cell E7 times what is in cell I1. And then for a bit of revision, I'm hoping you are with me now. If you are in and out because of network, I am recording this lesson. You'll be able to try and do a bit of revision, but I've just gone over absolute cell referencing, which we covered in our last lesson. And then lastly, as consolidation, the last section in the textbook was looking at a file called sales 27. I have shared that file with you on WhatsApp. And here we are being asked to use we are being introduced to some additional formulas we didn't discuss using the if function, okay? But I will quickly read this portion of the textbook, and then we are done, and then we can start on a new topic. Okay, so logical functions, they calculate outcomes based on criteria, and if the criteria is true, one action is taken. If the criteria is false, a different action is taken. Logical functions can be used in a range of situations. For example, you can use a logical function to decide if a student has passed a test. If a mark is greater than or equals to a specific value or a specified value, the student passes. If the mark is less than that, the student fails. The if function returns one value if a condition is true and another value if a condition is false. Okay. In the example of above, if the score is greater than or equal to the pass mark, a true value is returned. If the score is less than the pass mark, a false value is returned. You can use the if function to display a result of a logical test, but you must enclose the text you want to display in quotation marks. Okay. Okay, Paida is just indicating she's having some network issues. Yeah, our network, it sounds like a couple of providers today might be across different providers. Let's just do our best to carry on with the lesson. Okay, so you can use the if function to display text as a result of a logical test. You must enclose the text in quotation marks. And here is an example which is given. If what is in A1 is greater than 10, then the text to display is over 10. If not, the text to be displayed must be 10 or less. Okay, over 10, if what is in cell A1 is greater than 10, and 10 or less if what is in cell A1 is less than or equal to 10. And then this is basically how you use an if logical function. You put the if equals, and then the word if, you open your brackets, and then you put what the logical test is. Like for instance, if what is in cell A1 is greater than 10, and then in quotation marks, what do you want to be displayed if the value is true? And then in quotation marks, what you want to be displayed if the value is false. Okay, and then here are some descriptions of logical tests that you may be asked to use. Equal sign, if it's equal to, this sign here is not equal to, this sign means greater than, this sign means greater than or equal to, this sign means less than, and this sign is less than or equal to. And then value if true and value if false. This is the outcome if the logical test is true. It can be a number, formula, cell reference, cell name, text in quotes, or another function. And the value if false, the outcome of the logical test is false. It can be a number, formula, cell reference, cell name, text in quotes, or another function. So to use this, we are being asked to look at the sales 72 spreadsheet, and it says display the bonus worksheet. Okay, so I have shared that file with you as well. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet, and then this is the bonus worksheet. Okay, as has been highlighted there. And it says you want to calculate a bonus of 10% of sales for a team of salespeople, but they will only receive this bonus if they exceed their quota. So we are being asked to click on cell if, and then you open the bracket, and then the logical test is if E8 is greater than F8. So I'm going to, this is a demonstration. So it says click on cell G8, and then cell G8 is this one. and then we are being told equals if, open bracket, and then I want to double check what it is that I've been asked to display. If, okay, E8 is greater than F8, okay? So I can click on cell E8, and then I put the greater than symbol, greater than F8, okay? That is my logical test. I'm just following the steps that are highlighted here in the textbook, okay? Then I need to put a comma after the formula, and then the action to be taken is E10 times 10%, otherwise it's 0. So all I'm doing is I'm following the steps there. So, comma, then over here, it's, again, I'm just going back to just check what I'm being asked to do. E8 is multiplied by 10%. Okay, so whatever the value is, E8 is multiplied. So I put a star or asterisk, and then I put 10%, 10%. And then, so this person gets 10% commission if their sales is above the quota. Otherwise, the text to be displayed is 0. So then I press enter. Now, if you have a look at this, let me just zoom a little bit, maybe so that you can also see the figures a little bit clearer. So over here, for this account manager 10, we've displayed the formula and we've copied it in. The value in cell E8 is smaller than what is in cell F8. So this person does not get any commission, it's a 0, okay? And then what I simply do is I can copy down my formulas, and then the computer will automatically calculate those who deserve to get commission and those not. And if you have a look here, this person, what is in cell E9 is greater than what is in cell F9, and therefore they get 10% of their sales, which is 5,550. This person, this value is smaller than that value, so the answer, they get 0 commission. This person's sales are higher than that, so they get their commission. This person, it's lower, which is 0, and this one is higher, and then that's their commission. Are there any questions? That is what I wanted us to do a short recap on. I had asked you to do that for homework, but I thought it important to cover this section because I know often with absolute cell referencing and the use of if
Yes,
it's also to overload you. I would encourage you, those of you who haven't handed in the assignment, it is now obviously due. Maybe you needed a bit of support on this. If we can please make sure we do that in.
okay.
Do you need me to explain it? Do you need me to explain anything else? Otherwise, I would like to move on to the next chapter, copy paste, which is really, really easy. What I've gone over here, I felt it was important because we ran out of time last week and we didn't meet because of the long break, the exit long weekend. So I thought it would be good for me to do a bit of recap and revision there. Any questions on that? I know some of us have been having a few network issues. I have recorded this and obviously it will be available. I'm still available on WhatsApp if you need any additional.
Wait, so where do you upload the recordings? Because I wasn't here for the second lesson of last week.
Okay, I should be uploading those recordings later on today. So you will see them. You just log into the platform and you will see those recordings. They will be embedded in the section. So I think once I've uploaded, I can let you know that the videos are now available. Okay. Awesome. Right. So let's do this then. So let me. We have 15 minutes left. I'm going to probably just introduce our next chapter, and then we will be able to consolidate this chapter in our next lesson. It was important that we do some revision. So we want to move on to a new topic, which is our lesson 11. We'll cut, copy, and paste. So what we want to learn, again, most of this stuff is fairly straightforward. Copying and pasting, cutting, copying formulas, pasting lists, filling cells, dragging and dropping and editing, and then undoing and redoing. Okay, so copying and pasting data. Christian, can I ask you to please just read that one sentence for us?
When you copy cells that contain text or numbers, Excel creates a copy of the content. Creates a copy of the content when they are pasted in another location.
Right. So is that simple? It's that simple. We want to look at, there is a okay. Now share that file you copy paste it. We just paste the file on our WhatsApp group. So we were just looking at opening the file, okay, this file, and we've been asked to select. I'm just going to enable editing over there. And let's just look at what we are being asked to do, which is to select cell A4 to A8 and then paste it to say cell A8. That's, and then to copy, I can go to the clipboard group. Okay, right at the top, the clipboard group. And when cell A12, the paste option is in the clipboard group again, so I can click on that, and you will notice that I have now copied the contents that were in that cell into the new range. So this second section we are looking at is really quite simple and nothing difficult, nothing challenging. As usual, as I'm demonstrating, I would ask that you also follow along, have the same file open as well on your computers, and make sure that you are doing the same thing. So let's look at the next section, which is cutting data. To cut and paste data, right, cell K1, and this time around there is an icon, has a pair of scissors called, and then is the same option. Need to cut what is in cell K1 and paste it into cell L1. So that's really simple. Okay. So the contents in cell A1, is it? What was that cell reference? Let me just double check again. Select cell K1. Okay. K1, let's see, there. Okay, I had just gone out of this range of my screen. So the contents in cell K1, I use the little pair of scissors, that icon, that's the cut icon. I click on it. Okay, again, it shows me that that is the cell that I want to cut, kind of like when I was copying. and then I've been asked to put that into cell L1, okay? And then I use the paste icon. So that is how you cut and paste. And from what we've previously learned, if all the contents are not displayed in that cell, if I just double click there, I can make the column wider so that you can all see. Okay. Again, really simple. What I'll ask you to do is to give you to do the first two tasks that I displayed, copying and cutting. And if I can ask you to just send me your screenshots. I just want to end off our lesson today. We did a recap and a review for absolute cell referencing, as well as the if logical function on WhatsApp. If I can ask you to go back and recap on that, page 135, and do copying and cutting. We will continue in our next lesson. Chapter, it's not a long chapter, and you'll be able to work on the assignment as well.